The Betrayed. Welcome back to The Betrayed. I'm Gina Beck.
This is Drew Williams.
Thank you for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I appreciate y'all. It really means a lot, especially the reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and thank you guys for the prayers and kind words from the last episode. It was cool to see. Thank you guys very, very much. It definitely helps when you're getting back on your feet from something like this.
How are you doing now?
I'm good. This last one hit pretty hard because I hadn't had one in so long, so I was knocked down for a bit, but slowly back together. How are you?
I'm good, and that's really good to hear. I'm glad that you're, bouncing back.
Yep.
We're all here for you, and we appreciate you, and we're glad that you could make it this week. We missed you. It was weird not, doing our normal thing, our normal intro and outro and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Hearing you say Drew to Jared was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was awesome that he filled in. I'm looking forward to doing some more episodes actually with him.
All right, so maybe some people are here just because of the title. This is going to be about Dahvie Vanity and his situation. I just really wanted to kind of put my input on it and talk about this with Drew because I've sent him some links and we've discussed it a little bit the past 2 weeks. I kind of brought it up. So I just kind of want to start with who Dahvie is. His actual name is Jesus David Torres, and on his 22nd birthday, he's known as Dahvie Vanity now. He started a trio called Love the Fashion with Christopher and Rebecca. The group was originally nothing but a joke, which soon developed into Blood on the Dance Floor. The group self-released their first album, Let's Start a Riot, in April 2008, and not being able to tour, Rebecca and Christopher, they left the band while Vanity toured the Orlando, Florida area. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of people know how it started and stuff like that. I know there's he's got a hardcore group of fans, but his Instagram is now different. And this kind of got my attention because of the Chris Hansen interview with Jeffree Star. I had no idea who Dahvie was. Did you?
I didn't know who he was. I knew who Blood on the Dance Floor was just because it's that scene music. And for people who are wondering what it is, imagine if the game DDR had a Halloween-themed album or game, and they needed a band to make it. Blood on the Dance Floor would have been it.
Right.
I didn't know any of the allegations because this has been going on for quite a while, especially with the Jeffree Star getting called out over bullshit. But that stuff was almost 10 years ago, his initial call-outs, weren't they?
Right. Yeah, this all happened he started their first album, Let's Start a Riot, in April 2008. And, allegations have gone on 10 plus years. And he changed the name on his Instagram. And he has his comments to where only certain people can comment, like if he's friends with them or if he follows them. You can see in the comments that it's mostly girls. And if you click on some of them have their age in the bio, and they're underage, and they're followed by him. And this, I guess, came back the surface because there's 21 victims due to him trying to groom them, etc., that have come forward, and there's proof. And Chris Hansen wanted to get to the bottom of it and has interviewed some of those girls along with Jeffree Star and along with people that was in the band with him. So we will link those below if you want to check out those full interviews.
The thing that really is disturbing about this whole situation is how much of the focus is not on Dahvie Vanity, the rapist, and it's all become basically focused on Jeffree Star. And I went into it kind of angry at Jeffree Star when I watched him, like the first interviews, and coming out of it, I don't necessarily like him, but I think he is wrongfully getting labeled as a predator, kind of guilty by association. And the focus seems to be on him, where it should be completely on Dahvie Vanity because he's the guy who has raped children and is continuing to try and groom them in the exact same process that he did before.
Right. And something that I had brought to the surface was you could compare the situation, if you will, to R. Kelly, to Harvey Weinstein, to Bill Cosby, to any celebrity that has gone through this. You could compare situations, and what about the people that still have those guys' backs today that we know very well? We're friends with him and haven't said anything negative or anything, and just act like it probably didn't happen. I
Mhm.
could name names, but I don't really want to get into that. But people being mad at Jeffree over this when things like that has happened, I mean, come on, not even on my radar, you know.
No, it seems everything seems really petty, and it seems very strange that everyone would hyper focus in on him. Maybe it's because of how successful he is now, but that doesn't make him the predator. Like, I mean, I understand where people have frustrations with him because I personally, if I knew someone and toured with someone like he did and those allegations coming out, I wouldn't be able to even face him without hurting him. But that's me.
Right.
And I think
Me too.
and I think money and fame changes things in people's perspective, especially when you're younger. Because Jeffree Star's not young, but he was in his mid 20s or something like that when that all went down initially.
Right, and from what I gathered, he hadn't saw anything himself. It was all hearsay from people around him who said that they knew or they heard. And so he was just like relaying the message to his platform, and he deleted it, and people are furious over that. And then he went on, I think, a tour, the one last tour with him. And if I listen to Mom's Basement, the interview that they did with Jeffree Star, it explains some more about it. They ask him some more questions than Chris Hansen did, and it kind of touches on some things that Chris and Jeffree Star didn't touch on. And something that, Jeffree had said that he spent his last little bit of money on that, and which is good that he did, because he is where he's at today, he had said. So in my opinion, yeah, money, being desperate, wanting the
But I think
fame.
people again are like they're hyper focusing on him, and when I think of like that tour, who at Van's Warp Tour put together Blood on the Dance Floor and them to be on basically a kids tour? That seems a
Exactly.
little weird, but
I think I saw some comments asking that question as well. There are people very concerned about that, who would allow that to go on, because, like, as a venue or a festival or something like that. I guess someone named Pastel Bell was covering allegations against Blood on the Dance Floor. Singer Dahvie Vanity has released some bombshell information on the community tab, according to Pastel. There are 3 minors alleging grooming and sexual assault from Dahvie Vanity as of a few hours ago. Pastel posted that there is now an official criminal investigation against the singer.
yeah, she went on
And
later to say, "I am in tears right now, and an official criminal investigation into Dahvie Vanity has launched." And if that has to deal with 3 minors, I don't believe they've been named publicly, but I think some of their stuff was in the receipts from the different screenshots. I think that's what it was.
well, have you heard of Jessie Slaughter? Because she is a survivor from Dahvie Vanity. He has like all these videos from when he was younger, like 9 years old and on, and then had done the interview with Chris Hansen. And I had watched some of it, and it's just kind of devastating that the part that I watched, Jesse had said, like, he still has a place in his heart for Dahvie. Like, that can just never go away, because that was like his first and everything. And that's what's sad, is people with platforms always will have a victim at all ages, and can really, like, you know put themselves onto that child at such a young age that it sticks with them forever.
Which is really scary that that imprint would last that long because all the things I've read about the actual like allegations, he's pretty violent with all these girls, these little girls, like cutting their mouth open and ripping hair out and biting and stuff like that. It's pretty scary to think that you could send your kid to a concert, especially being Van's Warp Tour. I never would have thought. they would have someone like that. I mean, the worst thing I would think of at Vans Warped Tour, like, the guys with like no effects or something like that. Like, I didn't think like predatory type stuff.
So police knew about Dahvie Vanity and they gave him a warning. And now 21 women accuse him of sexual assault. So he got a warning. That's something that I've been saying for a while is like more punishment for sexual predators. Why did he just get a warning? If it was severe, especially with what we all know Jesse went through, like that is they taunted Jesse Slaughter. Jay and Dahvie Vanity, there is a video still up of them making fun of her crying video, of
Hmm.
them crying like her and with the dad in the background and acting like the dad and taunting her when they know exactly what had happened
I mean, that's
with
just a
her.
case of extreme cyberbullying because he basically unleashed his fan base on, I don't know, she was 11 or something like that when it initially went down, right?
I think like
They're super young.
she was with him at 10, pretty sure, in the Chris Hansen video interview that was said, like 9, 10. But all of that happened a little later, yeah.
It leaves me like without words just thinking about a kid being in a situation like that.
Right. It's just the whole the whole thing is a mess, but he just needs to be in trouble, definitely, and I hope that the police are doing a thorough investigation and we do see something come of this.
I don't know at this point.
I know Onision isn't even in trouble,
That
right?
that's what I was gonna say. That you got people like Onision, but it does seem like there's more proof, I guess, of violent crimes and felony style crimes than I hate to say that than Onision, but it does seem like there's more receipts. So maybe it's just a matter of waiting for the case to build. Because sometimes collecting all that information can take a long time for them to build the case.
Right. Yeah, it takes time. It's a process for sure. I was reading something here and it says even in the age of Me Too, with a bunch of sexual assault allegation against an individual is not enough to yield charges or an official investigation. Dozens of women accused disgraced actor and comedian Bill Cosby and former USA gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar of assaulting them, but in each case it took many years for authorities to take women's claims against a powerful man seriously enough to investigate and prosecute him. Just so true. So often victims don't report because they fear there's a likelihood that they'll never be believed. And
Well,
sex crime, go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at Bill Cosby. I mean, there's jokes from other comedians now that you look back on it. They absolutely knew what was going on. Everybody
Right.
knew. Everyone knew that he was a piece of crap and it was all a front. But when you're a god of an industry, basically, you're basically untouchable, it seems like.
Exactly. That's what frustrated me about people being so just hating on Jeffree and focusing on that. It's like, no, just forget Jeffree, focus on Dahvie. Or if you really want to be mad at someone, go be mad at the people that knew about Bill Cosby and R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein, because those are people to be mad at right now.
Yeah,
Not
I
Jeffree.
really, really think like say what you will about Jeffrey and his attitude and his whole thing, but I really think he is wrongly getting roped into being basically an accessory to Davi, and it's like no, he made some bad choices about who his friends were. He made some bad posts that he probably should have left up, honestly. But I don't think Jeffree Star is a predator.
No, no.
But
And I don't think that he,
Dahvie Vanity is a monster. That guy is
yeah.
an absolute monster, and he's just roaming social media looking for the next group of teenage kids to prey on.
And I don't think Jeffree is protecting predators either. And to an extent of, people working in the same setting, such as with Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, and knowing what they had went on, it's not comparable. So go be mad at those people. Think about it, you guys. If you're listening and you're one of those that are mad at Jeffree,
Well,
just think about it.
think about Aaliyah's first album. R. Kelly is on the cover. I think she's 15 or 16. It's called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. How many people let that go? There had to have been dozens upon dozens of people that let that go.
Yeah, too many. One too many, for sure. You watched the documentary on all of that, right?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. About
Yeah.
his basically his cult.
Here's something. At school, Farrell would mouth off to teachers and skip class to smoke cigarettes and pot. At home, she would pick fights with her mother. By 2008, when her classmates started listening to Torres's band, her grades had plummeted. One afternoon later that year, Farrell was called into the principal's office. She didn't think much of it. By that point, she'd been called in so many times she lost count. But this time was different. She was failing all her classes, the school counselor explained, and it was too late to get back on track. So it seems like Farrell got obsessed with the band. Internet was like fairly new around that time, right? 2008ish,
It wasn't.
especially for kids. I
I
mean,
mean,
kids hadn't had
it was like the
internet.
birth of like the social media we know, because that was all MySpace era and all that.
Mm,
Absolutely.
right. Yeah. So it was fairly new. So a lot of this was new to parents as well. And that couldn't have been, you know, I mean, I remember when I had my first phone, it was like, what, 15? And I wasn't even, it was like a little flip phone.
I was
Like,
gonna say
didn't know anything.
my phone didn't do anything besides like I had one of the first color screen flip phones, like one of those Motorola's. Yeah, that's how old I am now.
It seems that though she spiraled to an I don't care anymore attitude, and her mother had noticed. 2 years after police in Pinellas County declined to arrest Torres for receiving oral sex from 14-year-old Farrell, police in Colorado arrested him for allegedly forcing another teenage girl to perform oral sex and released him without charge. That's what makes me angry. Is like, why?
And
Why release him without charge?
there was also another case. It might have been one of those. He traveled across state lines to meet up with her in his van, and then he basically raped her in his van in front of her parents' house.
These two are just about the oral sex. That one, I'm not sure. I haven't heard.
That's one of them. There's so many of them out there. Like there's 21
Yeah, there's
allegations. Right?
21. That
There's
is
21
insane.
allegations right now. And they slowly, as the weeks go on, I'm sure by the time even we release this, there'll probably be more information out about him. It just seems like to be almost every other day something else comes out.
Well, here's another one. It was 2009, and BOTDF was in Denver for a performance. Two people who witnessed Torres's arrest, including then BOTDF singer Garrett Ecstasy McLaughlin, told HuffPost McLaughlin said he and a friend discovered Torres alone in the tour bus with two teenage girls. Shortly before the band was due on stage, later in the middle of the show, cops arrived and apprehended Torres.
I mean, they already. That's the crazy thing. They already had him. They could have stopped a lot of stuff then. He would have been a registered sex offender. There would have been a lot of things like that. Which I
It's
mean,
just crazy how there's like so many times he's been caught, even with other people, not even just allegations of girls saying this. Like he's been caught in person. McLaughlin, who said he then saw one of the girls crying in the parking lot and telling an officer Torres had forced her to perform oral sex. McLaughlin said Torres was released from jail after a few days, though the circumstances remain unclear. And in a video statement to his fans, Torres first claimed his accuser had mental issues and failed a rape kit, so the police let him go. Later in the video, however, he hinted that he may have negotiated her silence. If I settled any case out of court, I wouldn't even have the freedom to speak of it, he said, adding, I always treat women with respect. Colorado authorities declined to comment, nothing, only that sealed records are not accessible to journalists or the public. So as he got like more famous and his stardom grew, rumors of his sexual misconduct became an open secret. Massive online groups devoted to exposing him, and they have existed since BOTDF's early days. Former touring partners publicly accused Torres of molesting children and refused to perform with him. Venues canceled BOTDF shows in response to widespread pedophilia allegations. Good.
that's good. But he's still on Instagram. He's got like more. Doesn't he have merchandise and like a new band or something like that coming out?
Oh yeah. I don't know about a whole new band, but he's definitely creating his own music.
Okay.
Might even be just by himself. Like he might even just be doing a single or something like that. But yes, he's doing things on his own now. He has his own merch that he designs, and like I said, his comments are restricted to only people that he follows, and there are a lot of underage girls who comment.
It's very suspect.
And in some of these screenshots of text messages, Dahvie says, I can't wait to come all over your face. and there's a picture of her. He says, I'm going to, like, these are just very descriptive. I'm just going to put the link below, and you're going to click on the link, and you're going to go and check them out if you want to. Because I don't think I should say this on here. But it is way too descriptive, like raunchy and descriptive to be saying to a child. That is insane.
Yeah, they're pretty sick. And then he was sending naked photos, things like that.
And I know people are going to be asking, yeah, he was sending nude photos. And I know people are going to be asking or just saying or whatever, have their opinion on where are the parents. Now, I just want to remind everybody this time, you know, I don't know. It was just way more, just different.
Let's just be honest. Parents, I went to tons of concerts in high school that my mom would have not wanted me to go to. I still went. Teenagers are gonna go. There's movies about it in the '70s, going to see Kiss and all those type of bands. Like,
Right.
teenagers are gonna be
You
teenagers.
just find a way to do it.
Yeah,
And
I,
it's going to happen whether the parents want it to happen or not. And if you restrict your child from doing it, your child, if they know, you know, like, or if they have the mentality to like try to pull one over on you, they'll just like run away. I've had my sibling, my little sister, run away because she didn't want to be in a house, or because who wouldn't let her do certain things or hang out with certain people, and she ran away. You know, so it happens. Like if the kid feels cornered or, you know, like they're not free or whatever, and they will find a way to do it, whether it's running away or sneaking out or planning times with friends and they're not really with those friends, whatever the case is. So you just have to pay attention to your kids, and there's ways to put tools on the cell phone so you will always know where your kid is. Remember that.
there is. There's plenty of them. Apple has them embedded, basically.
So there's, you know, think about the things that you did as a kid, but now you have a tool. Whether you want to say you can't have a phone till you're 18, blah, blah, blah. Like I would say I'd give my child a phone. I'd put all the restrictions on it to where they can't do anything but talk or text to like 3 people, which is family.
Yep.
And not have internet, and you know, they could
Pay
have a
for
few apps.
Qustodio.
Yeah, Qustodio, which is the GPS, so you can see where they are, and there's so many things that you can do. You can restrict apps, you can put vaults so that you can save things on there and your kid doesn't know what it is.
Pay attention to podcasts like this so we can tell you about all the other secret apps, because there's a bunch of weird apps that hide other apps. We'll keep talking about them as we find them out too.
And now we'll link in the description app a day.
App a day keeps the predators away, right?
Yeah, and it's an amazing page that gives you 100% information on tons of apps, helpful apps, and apps that can make you be aware of to make sure that your child's not on those apps because they're dangerous. So that's an amazing page. You guys should check it out. I think it's one of the best pages on Facebook for information about things that we do in the community. So if you're not on that page, you should go to it. Something else that I want to say about Dahvie is by 2010, the allegations against Dahvie were so widespread that he started writing songs to deny them. He denied it in his music. Like, look at me, I'm beautiful, not a suspect of rape. Those were his lyrics. My name and reputation won't be the target of a slut. He sings in one, call me a pedophile, underage is not my style. He asserts in another. That's very forward. But Torres continued. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say these are. I'm glad I've never read any of these lyrics. Like,
I know. I guess Dahvie continued to prey on girls, wielding his, fame and whatever else to coerce many into sexual acts. According to his accusers, they said he's an expert at winning vulnerable girls' trust in their silence. He made it all seem so normal and even came to see them twice more after he assaulted her, said Patricia, a woman from Brevard County, Florida, who alleged Dahvie forced her to perform oral sex in 2010 when she was 15 years old. She was a confused kid, desperate for attention, and had misplaced feelings for a predator. And Like many women quoted in this story asked to be identified only by their first name because they don't want to be known. But he made them feel special. All of them said.
They're probably all
Which,
terrified of the fan backlash because they're pretty brutal. They're pretty defensive over him, so I can
right,
understand that.
like a cult-like following.
Yeah, I mean, no different than like R. Kelly and stuff like that.
Right. Any celebrity that has
Mm-hmm.
diehard A1 day ones, they're gonna fight your battles for you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And they lean on those people, unfortunately.
yeah. So, despite the darker themes in his songs, which is humiliating women, killing women, ejaculating on women, Dahvie paints himself as a goofy, friendly scene kid his fans can relate to. Dahvie Vanity gets it. He knows how it feels to be misunderstood like them, to be an outcast like them, and he preaches positivity on social media because he cares about them. He's got tons of messages of self-love and overcoming adversity paired with Brody selfies resonate with legions of teens in the Slash Gas Terror Crew, BOTDF's name of its fan base. There's tons of interviews that you can see with Dahvie Vanity's victims. Whether you type that in or just go to Chris Hansen, I think he did 3 of them with 3 different girls, but there are more out there.
There's a few other interviews, and the one that's really honestly worth listening to is Mom's Basement with Jeffree Star. It's they ask a colossal crazy asks better questions than Chris Hansen did.
So let's just get hashtag more punishment for predators in the comments because that's just what really needs to happen at the end of the day. I'm tired of seeing predators get slaps on the wrists. And there's, did you see the viral video of, but there was a young man, I'm pretty sure he stole a car and he was live on Facebook and it showed him running from the cops, said some things and he gets out of the car, pulls it over and starts running and the cops are behind him and they're like, get down. Granted, he should have got down. And then they had shot him and I guess like one of the cops was in frame, had came up to him and just shot him like more
Oh, it's
without,
overkill.
yeah. And
That's
so
really disturbing and sad. No, I'll have to check it out here in a little bit.
right, something like that, like someone's gonna get in trouble for a long time,
They
you
should
know and a predator who had gotten caught multiple times is just walking the streets and at home right now.
probably.
Comparable? Yeah, it is comparable because that guy has hurt children, and just like that guy has hurt a human being and overkilled, if that's what it's called. I didn't know that it had a term, but yeah. And there's many other stories, like just stealing a car in general. You get so much time. I'm not condoning it, but you get so much time compared to a predator. So hashtag more punishment for predators. It's really annoying how people are letting them go. I hope that I just see more and more people talking about this kind of thing, and I just hope that there's more of a focus on it, and I hope maybe change does come, but it's going to take us.
Yep.
So thank you for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure to leave those reviews on Apple Podcasts, and if you want to come on The Betrayed and tell your story, make sure you go in the description below and click on one of our socials to message us. Love y'all. Banana Cats.
Much love. Peace.